Raise the Roof Production.
Well, you'll never know the heartache of looking a grown man in the eye, and he asks, am I gonna make it? And you've got to lie. Well, they call me Doc, but I ain't got no degree. When shit hits the fan, they're calling for me. From bluegrass Kentucky, with red blood on my hands, nobody calls me hero except for my friends. Yeah, they call me Doc.
Hello, brothers and sisters and American patriots. Welcome to the third season of Sick Call with Doc. I'm your host, Rod Doc Walbeck. Always my co-host, Joe Misfit Glenn. In the back, running the dials, Brian Devil Dog Roof. And I can't believe we're on season 3 already.
Yeah, right.
It's incredible, man. Let's start off first. Let's reintroduce our mission of Sick Call with Doc so that there's no questions of why we're here. We're here to provide a platform for veterans to speak their minds and tell their stories as they see fit, unfiltered, uncensored, uncut, and untouched by the mainstream media. We want to bring awareness to the challenges and the struggles facing our veterans every day. We want to shed light on the organizations and government agencies helping or hindering the healing of our veterans' mind, body, and spirit. We want to inspire and bring hope to all veterans and to do our part to help eradicate veteran suicide. Lastly, we want to educate the world on how veterans, on their own initiative, are saving their own lives through the use of cannabis and psilocybin. And with that, please remember, we're medics and docs. We are not here to treat or diagnose anything. We're just a bunch of old vets trying to help each other out. And let me give you some stats real quick before we get into the show. I did some research, and here's what I've learned. During the Iraq-Afghanistan war from 2001 to 2021, we lost approximately 7,500 of our fellow service members. In that same time, from 2001 to 2021, and then I added 3 years of 22 a day to get us to now, we've lost 54,000 veterans to suicide. We've lost 8 times what we lost over there. Mm-hmm. That's just insane to think about.
Yep.
And it is time to stop that.
Yeah.
And if stories like we're going to hear today and the stories from our other episodes, let's hope that it reaches a veteran, 1, 2, and stops them, gives them hope and stops them from going to that way and thinking that whatever's next has got to be better than what's here. Because what Joe and I have learned, huh, Joe? The dreams and the hope that cannabis and holistic medicine has done for our veterans. It's given them new life, new wind in their sails, more ammo in their weapon.
Yeah.
It's just been incredible to be a part of this. I know Joe feels the same way. I don't want to speak for you, buddy, but
I got a little bit on that. For me, I look at it as though you're walking down a narrow path through the woods. It's dark all around you. All you see is the light ahead, right? There's just woodline, thick woodline all around you, a very narrow path. All of a sudden, you start seeing spotty light going through that woods. It's starting to open up. You're starting to see more. That is what the visual that I put through my head with. That's what cannabis brought me. I was on this narrow path of trying to survive. And now, through cannabis and psilocybin at on minimal doses, has got me to see more and understand that there's more out there and there's more people like me. And so that gets you excited and hopeful. And it's just a snowball effect.
Yeah, and I know I can speak for Joe and Brian on this. We are simply honored and
Yeah,
humbled to bring our brothers and sisters' stories to light and
agreed.
give you guys a voice to tell your story and to get it off your chest and to reach out and grab another veteran, pull them in and say, don't go, stay with us.
Yes,
Right.
we care.
Yes. So with all that, another awesome veteran, Marine Lance Corporal Aaron Proctor. Welcome to the show, brother.
Welcome,
I'm
brother.
glad you're
having
here
me.
to tell your story, man.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome to be here, brother. So
Yeah,
you know
man.
the drill. You know the drill, man. This is your hour and a half, man. You tell your story that you believe will help relate to other veterans. Start where you want, end it with your cannabis and how it saved your life or helped you much more. And rock and roll time, brother.
Yeah. Like I said, my name's Aaron Proctor. I was in the Marines, and to go back, my childhood, um, it was kind of rocky. And nothing I really can't complain about, but my father was an alcoholic, so a lot of stuff happened family wise. I blacked out. When I was young, growing up, my mom left. We came to Virginia when I was, in early elementary school. Um, Pretty much grew up here, was, a hellion, just had energy and rage and stuff I didn't know how to control. Uh, Joined the Marine Corps after high school, try to find, a channel to put my energy in. Um, I went to basic in 2002, and then from there went to Oklahoma for artillery school at Fort Sill.
Oh,
uh, Got done with that. That was a pretty wild place, you know. I'd never been out west, never flown on a plane before, but
You were
got
East.
done with.
You were East Coast, right? Because you're
Yes,
from
sir.
Virginia. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Paris
Hmm.
Island, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, got done with artillery school and got stationed in Camp Lejeune on Thanksgiving. Um, and that January, we got recalled from Christmas leave to get on boats and to ship overseas. So I was brand new to the fleet. Didn't know anything really, didn't know anybody, and but we had 30 days on the boat to
Did you get seasick?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
man.
never been offshore before, and then they
it
throw me
would
on the
not be
aircraft.
true.
Then they throw me on the aircraft carrier. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Oh.
seasick on flat water. Flat. I got
Yeah.
seasick as a dog, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah. So they recall us. I was home on Christmas leave, and actually got married on Christmas leave, because we knew we were getting deployed.
Yeah.
So I'd done the whole movie thing, marry your high school sweetheart on when before you go overseas, and done all that. Went back to base, got on we took buses to Norfolk, got on ships. I think it was January 3rd. We got on the boats, and then on the 7th is when we left. Took us roughly a month. We floated overseas, and the boat life was pretty crazy. We didn't really have much to do, so we just kind of, it was just playing spades and watching TV all day.
We call y'all embarked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, we get into Kuwait, and we're there for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And I go to a ammo supply dump. I do raw security there for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then we get our marching orders that we're going to cross the border when the war actually started for the invasion. And we, went from town to town providing fire and security for the infantry that was in front of us. And yeah, just, done our day to day thing overseas. And then we think we were deployed for 7 months. I believe it was 7 months. And then we come home, and it's a pretty wild time trying to transition back.
Yeah.
And they gave us 30 days of combat leave when we got home. But
Let me ask you this, because
yeah.
I've never done it. I know our Hollywood Marine in the back there. It's different than Paris Island, right? Let me ask you this: is he coming on? When your drill instructors finally recognized you as a Marine, what was that like? How did that feel, brother?
Oh, that felt amazing.
Yeah, and you guys
It was
go through
great.
a week of hell, correct?
Yeah, the Crucible.
Crucible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about 3 days. Yeah.
yeah. I know I was proud when I graduated too, but I wasn't Marine Corps proud. You know what I mean? I think it's a whole nother animal, you know,
Yeah.
to be called a Marine. That's
Yep.
why Corpsmen love you guys so much, man. The loyalty and dedication y'all have is just insane.
Mhm.
It's something to behold. So overseas, you said you guys were you had the infantry's back. A lot of fight, a lot of hell, a lot of fighting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you said you got hurt over there, right?
Yes, it was. I didn't get shot or blown up or anything, but
Okay.
my third metatarsal in my foot started to grow through the bottom of my foot while we were over there.
Oh,
So
damn.
when I got back, they had to cut and remove bone out of my third metatarsal. So
Mm-hmm.
nothing combat related, but
Right on. Was that because of all the marching, or was
that's the only explanation I could get. It was, but when we were over there for the invasion, we didn't have camps. There was no fobs set up.
Right.
We were sleeping when we did sleep, we were sleeping in the back of 7 tons.
Yeah.
There was no bases, there was no berms.
so
We were
you were
just
the tip of the spear, man? You were like,
yeah,
Yeah.
we were the first ones over.
Mhm.
wow.
And they
That's
were
how we did
saying
it
since
in Afghanistan too. We didn't have any of the fobs or anything like that. We started it out.
yeah,
We were the ones to start it.
yeah. Now when we
Incredible.
come, yeah, that's what the doctor said was the podiatrist. It was just all that time on my feet. It was like a pre-existing issue, and it just come to light while I was over there.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you're like a Hulk though too, man. I know you're a large,
Yeah.
strong
Yeah.
man. So those feet probably had a hell of a run in. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure of it. Yeah,
You asked a lot of those feet, brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
The dogs were barking, boy. Let me
Yeah.
tell you. Mhm.
Yeah.
And so,
We went through a whole lot of ammunition. There was I can't remember exactly, but there was there was one battle. It was the Battle of Nasiriyah. It's pretty popular for people that know about it. That's where that army private got captured at.
Mhm.
We were there. We were the artillery shooting into the city for that, and we were
Nice.
getting ammo supplied. It was like 2 or 3 times a day.
Yep.
We were just
wow,
launching rounds. Yeah, it was wild.
wow,
Mm.
and you never got hit. That's a miracle.
Yeah,
That's a miracle, man.
Well, Artie, I mean, he's death from above. He's just sending that stuff, over a little bit of a way. They don't
hmm
even know it's coming.
yeah. There was one part we had a sandstorm come
Well,
up.
Artie, they do, huh? Yeah.
Huh?
Artie, you can hear come in, right? It's the mortars you can't hear.
I'm not sure. I tried not to stay on that side of it.
I hear you, Mugs. When I was a mortarman, I could hear the Artie going over us. As you
Okay.
guys would fire a little bit, behind us, you could hear it going
Yeah.
over. We'd get excited because there was all kinds of stuff about to pop off once we started hearing Artie get in it.
Oh yeah. 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 It
Yeah,
was a crazy experience for sure.
good times.
But
Wow.
Gave me goosebumps, man. Yeah,
yeah.
sent me right back. Woo!
Yeah. But after like I said, we floated over and we floated back. Um when I got back to the ship after we got done with our tour, I called home and I called my wife. She was supposed to be going to North Carolina while I was gone looking for apartments or townhouses. And I called her. We had pay phones on the ship. And I called her to see how she was doing. Because I haven't talked to her besides, she written me a couple letters, but the mail was so tore up,
Yeah.
which everything was new. So I didn't have a lot of correspondence with home. My first phone call after being deployed was her telling me she filed for divorce. So, yeah. So she was cheating on me the whole time I was gone with somebody I went to high school with.
I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
It's quite a thank you, huh?
Yeah, it happens. It happens a lot.
It happens a lot. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
now that it's been 20 some years later, I can understand. That's a lot to ask from somebody, especially when you're 19 years old.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But looking back now.
It takes a seriously special person to, without understanding what you're getting into, to stick around and make the correct changes and sacrifices to be there for your soldier. I can understand, but again, it takes somebody very special.
Yeah, yep. And after the divorce happened, well, after that phone call happened, we went to Portugal for our little leave session. We ported in Lisbon, and that was a 4-day blur for me. I turned 21 overseas,
Oh boy.
and with knowing that I was going home to a divorce, I drank like a fish. Every night I blacked out, and then that just started the alcoholism that I started when I got back stateside. As soon as I got back, like I said, we had 30 days combat leave, and I came home. I signed my divorce papers, and I left. I couldn't stay home. There was a Marine buddy of mine. We went through boot camp, artillery school. We have what we have combat school or advanced combat training, then artillery school, and we were stationed together. So from boot camp all the way to, not boot camp, I'm sorry, from the fleet all the way through, we were together. And he lives in Suffolk, Virginia, which is like 3 hours away. I went and stayed with him and his family for the rest of my combat leave because I couldn't stand to be around my hometown, because I was worried I was going to do something. So I just left. But that's where the alcoholism started. We were drinking like a fish. A couple other people were drinking. We were all drinking to cope with what we just went through.
Yep.
But with me going through a divorce, it just amplified it. And my dad and all my uncles were alcoholics also, and his grandfather. So it's kind of develops a pattern.
Creates a normal.
Yeah.
Same with me. My whole, all the males in my family, alcohol problems, alcoholics.
Yeah.
But one of us is going to have to change it up, right?
Yeah.
Eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I quit drinking when I got out, which I went through an outpatient program when I was in. Because we were in the field one time, and my hands were shaking so bad. It was only the second day in the field.
Yeah.
We were doing some training. I couldn't hardly write. And my staff sergeant seen it, and he was like, "No, you're going to the hospital."
Yeah.
So I went through that, and I haven't really drank since. If I'm at a cookout or something, I might have one, but that's about it.
Just to remember the taste.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're on. So I'm trying to connect the outpatient rehab you did. Was that in the 30 days of your getting out, or well before that, or
No, that's while I was still in.
while you're still in?
Yeah, it was a little outpatient clinic.
Yeah, and that helps you stop drinking. So by the time you did get out, no more alcohol, or?
Yeah, by the time I got out, and I had my twins were born also right before I got out. 'Cause
So that was with your high school sweetheart?
no, I got
Okay.
remarried. It was right before that I got remarried, and she moved down to North Carolina with me, and then it was like I said, we were just young and stupid, but she'd never been away from her family. She'd never been outside of Virginia. She'd never been, first time being away from home, and now she's pregnant. Then she's pregnant with twins. She didn't have any support system.
Yeah.
She ended up just leaving one day while I was at work. I come home to an empty house.
Damn.
So
Damn, brother.
yeah, so that happened, and shortly after that was in like the end of '05, and I got out in 2006, March of '06 is when I got out. But yeah, with going through that outpatient thing, that helped a lot to open my eyes. But it was mainly my twins being born. I had to, you know, tighten up for them. I didn't want them to be around when I was around growing up.
Amen.
Yeah, well, that's some startling news. when you
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
you're going to have a kid, and, oh no, two is better.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
for
what?
sure.
yeah.
I couldn't imagine. So when you got out, the lady you were with the twins, that's now not happening, right? So now
Yep, that's
you're alone.
divorce number 2.
Yeah, now you're alone, and you make the transition out of the service. What was that like?
It was pretty
Not, not,
dark.
not on the female and the kid thing, but for
Yeah,
you.
it was pretty dark. It was, I didn't have really. I had only had like 2 really good, solid friends I could talk to, but it was a pretty dark time. But
Yeah.
shortly after, I would say 8 months after getting out, I started a job that I had as a police officer at a nuclear facility, and I just dove into that head first. I worked all the time. I was working 700 to 900 hours of overtime a year, working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's just how I pushed everything away.
I was
I
wondering why you
just,
had that glow about you.
Yeah.
It's nuclear
Nuclear.
facility, huh?
yeah.
Something right in the fire, isn't it?
But,
So what was that like working at a place like that? I mean, security must have been popping, and your military experience probably helped you be really good
yeah,
at that.
I'd
Wouldn't you
say
say?
75% of the people there are prior military.
Okay.
But, and you got to have a secret clearance, a
Mhm.
Department of Energy, a DOE clearance.
Wow.
It was a great job, but
How long did you do that for?
15 years.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and plus with me being a single dad and working all the time, that threw in a whole nother wrench. But
So you ended up having custody of your kids?
I did all 3 of them. Well, I
Right
had
on.
a third one with a
Mhm.
girlfriend of mine. We had another I had another boy. He's a year younger than the twins.
Nice.
And so you raised all 3 at the
Hmm.
same time.
Yeah, I had help from the grandparents and stuff like that.
Right.
Right on.
But yeah, I had full custody of them.
Mm.
That's awesome.
Good on you, man. Good on you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And
Hey
they're
guys,
they're the reason why I tried to stay straight and look for the best and stuff. But
Blessings.
yeah, yeah.
Blessings. Nice.
yeah. So
But
you
yeah,
guys
but
were
I'd done that job, and it helped being around vets. There was a bunch of other vets there. Like I said, about 75% of the force was prior military, and the other part were all prior police officers. So it was, you're around familiar people.
Right on. And some of those were Marines. I mean, you had to get to hang around with your own
Yeah.
while you're working with your own guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And two of them actually served at the same time I did at Camp Lejeune.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like we didn't know each other, but we seen each other around base.
Isn't it funny how you can
Yeah.
just remember faces even without knowing people,
Yep.
Small
That's
world
pretty
type
cool.
stuff.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, we're about halfway through, guys. Why don't we take a break? We'll help we'll advertise some veteran stuff, help out our fellow veterans. When we get back, Aaron, let's talk about if you spend any time working with the VA. Let's talk about your transition into cannabis. We'll talk about what you've found works for you and for what things it works for, and shed some light for our brothers and sisters, and maybe it'll help them too. Let's take it away, Brian. Thank you, brother.
All right.
And go.
Or not.
And go.
Are you ready to be inspired by incredible stories of veterans, active duty military members, and first responders? Join Marine veteran Brian Roof on Every Day to Saturday USMC veteran as he dives deep into the lives of those who continue to make a difference. Hear firsthand experiences from front lines to civilian life. Discover the strength, resilience, and triumphs of our heroes. Gain valuable insights and practical advice for navigating life's transitions. With every episode, you'll be uplifted by stories of courage, determination, and hope. This is more than just a podcast. It's a community where every day feels like a Saturday. Subscribe now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Don't miss out on these powerful conversations that will leave you inspired and motivate us. Let's go.
Right.
And we're back. Can y'all hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, because I saw a little microphone had a line through it. I wasn't sure if that was me or what. Well, it makes your story, Aaron, makes me reminds me. There are times in my life where I thought I was the only motherfucker with problems, and then I'm reminded on a daily basis that I ain't got shit going on compared to what other people have gone through, and the level of resilience and tenacity that I see in our fellow veterans is amazing to me. The strength, the courage to stand tall in adversity. It's always inspiring to me. And thank you for that. You reminded me again that everybody's got stuff. Everybody goes through shit. Yeah. And you've been through some stuff, brother. Let's count the score. You've been through it, And so now, did you have to do anything with the VA? Did you suffer from depression or any anxiety, panic attacks, anything like that? I mean, what were the things you found once you got out you had? And what did you do about it?
Yeah, I was seeing a psychiatrist. I had some issues happen while I was still in the service, and I was seeing a psychiatrist for the 2 years before I got out. But the way they were rotating, it was a new doctor every 6 months. And they would diagnose me with something different, put me on a new medicine. And then I got out and I said, screw it, I'm not taking anything. But, because it was just changing every time I was seeing a new doctor. But we went to the VA for our claims while I was still in. That was part of our transition out. I don't think they do that now, but we talked to the VA when I was processing out, and I come home and I had my percentage was what it was. It was 30%, and I thought that's what I was getting. Because where my foot was messed up, I got that. I got tinnitus, from the artillery, hearing loss, and then PTSD. And, she told me I'd get 30%. So that's what I went with. And for the 15 or 18 years, prior, that's what I was getting was 30%. And, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself now, but Fast forward to 2021, I had a pretty bad mental episode, and I went to the psych ward for 7 days at the VA hospital. And during my visits after I got out, a nurse had noticed that my PTSD rating was 0 in my record, and she asked me why. And I didn't know, because I was getting 10% from my hearing, 10%, from my foot, stuff like that. And PTSD was labeled 0. And I told her, I said, I didn't know. I've never looked at it. Nobody's ever told me that. And I was also on medical leave from my place of employment because I went to the psych ward. I was on a 2-month medical leave, and I talked to the VA. I had to get reevaluated, and they found me to be 100%. And they diagnosed me in 2006, but it was never submitted.
Mm-hmm.
The claim was never submitted.
Did they retro for you?
No.
Of course not.
If they did, I would be on a beach somewhere. And
Oh, but even if they do get a chance to retro you, they do have a time limit. Like I had this one that I was going to get retro pay, but they said, hey, it's only 6 years. I had 18 years of back pay technically coming. They're like, no, we cut it off. It's 6 years only. And although it was a good chunk, that wasn't nowhere near what I was needing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they just went from the day that I filed the claim, because I had to refile it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Start over.
Yeah. Our bad.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, and you don't have to answer this. What was it that triggered your breakdown, if you want to call it that, or what have you? What caused that? Because you went so long, okay, and then boom.
Yeah. My dog died.
Oh man.
He was not a service dog, but he was my right hand man.
He was your service dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he was yours.
I had him.
I promise.
What kind of dog was it?
A pit bull.
All right.
I had him
Loyal
for
dogs.
13 years. And he actually stopped me from killing myself.
Mm-hmm.
How?
I was in my bedroom, and I had a shotgun in my mouth, and he walked in there and put his paw on my leg, and I couldn't do it.
Wow, dude.
So
Wow.
he was a lot. And then he just grew old. I had him for 13 years. He was probably 14 years old. He couldn't control his bowels. He was getting cancer and getting lumps cut off every other 6 months. And losing him just sent me to a really dark spot.
Yeah, you're like, what
feeling.
now?
You're not alone.
What now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Damn.
Wow. And then, from being in that dark spot and not having him there, that started the depression and anxiety. It just kind of, everything spiraled out of control.
And back to the pills?
Yeah.
So,
I went to the VA and asked for help. And, when after I started going downhill again, and they admitted me to the hospital, and that triggered me losing my job, which I resigned, but I was going to lose my job because I wasn't going to be able to keep my clearance.
Yeah, this is at the nuclear place, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which it all kind of worked out, and I'm grateful for, is when I was on medical leave, I got the 100%. So I was grateful for that. It all happened. It was perfect timing.
That's a blessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
man, I wanted to, just something that keeps playing in my head. You were talking about losing your dog, and that hits deep for me. I I'm that way. Though my dogs were like that for me too. And they went through the shit with me. And given your past, I always analyze shit like this. It's just a problem. I don't even know if it's a problem, but it's something I do. Hearing your story and learning about your divorces, your spouse is supposed to be that unconditional love, man. Right. And you lost that twice. And so you finally found it in your pet, your dog, because that is what I believe dogs give us. They exemplify unconditional love, and they teach us how to be that way with unconditional love. Once you lost that, I think subconsciously you lost everything that it was worth, and that's the unconditional love that you desired, I feel that incredibly deeply, Aaron, man. Yeah.
My wife had a female shepherd that was her dog. And because I was working 2 jobs a lot when my wife and I first met. So my wife's disabled at home, so a lot. So that dog was like her dog. And I loved watching the 2 of them because it was just such a bond. And we lost her a few years ago.
Yeah. It's a sad thing, man.
And then, my wife was lost, man. It was rough. And she wanted another dog. And I said, all right, we'll get another dog, but it's going to have to be my dog. I want to train him. I want to raise him. I want because I just want, I always felt like not excluded. I don't know why, but I just wanted that connection, that bond, like she had with her pup. Mm-hmm. And she could still love on that pup. It's still a dog, still in her house, still part of our family. Mm-hmm. Last night, he broke his chain, and I didn't know it. Now, I love this guy. I've come to love this male shepherd lunatic. And he's such a lover, man. What a lover dog. Anyway, he snapped his chain last night. So I was out in my car, traveling the roads around the house here, yelling for him for a couple of hours. And I didn't realize how much I loved that little fucker, man. I mean, it got to me. I thought I lost him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he comes right up to the car. I'm doing 2 miles an hour here. I was shit my pants. I thought, oh my God, he's so scared out there. He's never been away from me ever, or us out like that in the world. And I knew he must have been so scared, man, because he was pretty loving when he got in the car. Like, holy shit, you found me, man. I've been running around looking for you, Dad. It was, so I got him a brand new chain this morning. I got out of bed, put my clothes on, got in the car, went and got a new chain, a new post, pounded it in the ground, and he's back. And I didn't, it helped me understand how much I love this fucking guy.
Oh, yeah.
Deep connections, man, with our animals.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks, brother, for reminding me.
Yeah.
All right, so cannabis, man.
Yeah, cannabis.
Like you were on all these pills and shit, and you knew that wasn't going to work forever.
Yeah.
You probably figured that out in short order. So how did you get involved with cannabis? What happened? Buddies or something? What caused you to go cannabis?
Well, my history with cannabis, I smoked in high school. I smoked when I was in the service too. It helps to know somebody. So
man, I was too scared, man. I took one puff one time and I freaked out for a month, man. It's like we had a system in place, but did you?
I imagine so.
We knew somebody that knew somebody. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir.
And now once I was working, when I got out of the service, I couldn't smoke. For that whole 15 years, I didn't smoke or anything. I wasn't going to lose my job and not be able to support my kids. But as soon as I resigned from work and I was on 100% disability, I got into contact with an old buddy of mine. I know he grows and he smokes. And so he kind of taught me a little bit and gave me 2 clones, and he sold me a 2x4 and a light and some stuff like that to get started. And that's how it started. And from there, I just dove headfirst into that to keep me busy. And it helps with my anxiety. It helps with my sleep. You
The
know,
actual growing of plants, the actual
well,
hands in dirt, or are you talking about the
the
flower after?
consumption of it. Now,
Yeah.
the actual growing part, that helps a lot. You know, just having something to do, something to take care of. You know, you get to see a finished product when you're done with it. You know that you grew it yourself. You're growing your own medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
We hear
some of
that a
the
lot.
fun in that, some of the fun in that too, is implementing your own ideas on a different outcome. Say
Mhm.
you wanted your plant to be taller or whatever. I don't know, but implementing little changes and seeing it through and succeeding or failing one way or another, all that is really cool too, man. For me, anyway, I love it.
And that being in the present thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We hear that a lot, huh, Joe?
yeah, absolutely, man. It brings you
Yeah.
right here to the present, and that's, well, we ain't thinking about the past and we ain't thinking about the future. So right here, right now, there ain't nothing wrong, but just to fucking exist and have fun, right?
So are you a flower guy, THC dude, CBD stuff, edibles, carts, waxes, dabs, all this stuff they got out nowadays? What do you do? What's your medicine? What do you do?
I'd
Yes.
say mostly flour.
Yeah.
And mostly I smoke blunts.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Bongs kill me.
You get big rips off them bongs. Yeah.
Yeah, bongs will kill me.
Yeah.
If you don't come, you
But
don't get off, bro.
Yeah. That's what they say. See, get the sweats and everything. Jeez.
but
Yeah,
I
right.
like edibles. I like edibles too.
Me too. Me
It's a
too.
whole different high.
The THC edibles or more of a CBD edible? Have you tried any of the
THC.
different CBDs and see what's up with that?
No,
No,
I've
straight
I've,
THC.
I've smoked some 1-to-1 before,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and that was a pretty decent high. You know, I felt mellow, real mellow. It was
Yeah,
a 1-to-1 CBD flower.
I'm gonna guess you're an indica guy too, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like more of that sedative effect.
gotcha.
Same.
Huh.
Mhm.
Yeah, mine's
That's
a
my jam,
sativa.
man.
I love my sativas. Get
I'm
healthy
still
focus.
working on my sativa to try to get an understanding of it. Like, I know I can't go smoking 100% sativa. I will lose my mind, and that's just one pop off a joint, I promise you. But
Really?
it's
Wow.
happened to me, yeah. And so I'm learning my levels of sativa. Still in a lot of work to go, I promise.
Yeah, Joe. You were talking about changing things up and learning more about growing and stuff. So
Mhm.
I just cracked a bunch of seeds, and I tried a different way to germinate and get the tap roots going,
Yeah.
and I completely destroyed them all.
Did you?
Yeah.
Lesson learned, brother. Lesson
Oh yeah,
learned.
yeah. And I had to. I mean, I wanted to do a prayer over them when I put them in the garbage. Sorry, guys. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah, my bad. No.
So I only used half of my seeds when I did the first run, and so now I've got my second set floating in water right now. I did it this morning.
Cool.
So you learn all the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
I learned never let your paper towel go dry.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
just ran into that, Rod, if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
That when we had the fires here, like
Yeah.
I had my seeds soaking on top of my light. Well, it went 48 hours. I went in there and they were bone dry with little tails and everything sticking out of them. And well, I had to start over.
My
Yep.
tails were all curled,
Yeah.
like a dog tail. You know,
They're ready to rock and roll, man.
No, they
But
weren't. They were.
They
but
were. They would have been if you'd have caught them on time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going back to the way I've always done it. That's always worked.
Safe. Mhm.
Yeah. You know, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
yeah,
Amen.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so weeds helped me, you know, since I was able to smoke and grow, and like I said, it helps my depression, my anxiety, and then you know that's just the consumption part. But growing, it gives me something to look forward to, and the community's been great too. You know, the cannabis community, the cannabis veteran community
Yeah.
has been really good too. Met a lot of great people. So you know, me and Doc met, me and you, Joe. How we
Yep.
met, and also too. I don't want to put a plug in here, but me and two other vets we've met in these groups, and they live in Virginia. We started our own cannabis event for veterans here in Virginia.
Nice.
Yeah, talk it up. What's it
What's
about?
up? Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, we are. It's the Virginia Veterans Cannabis Competition.
I think I've seen that around. Virginia.
Say it again. Virginia's
Virginia Veterans
Cannabis
Competition.
I've seen that around. Yes, you guys are on Facebook and stuff, correct?
Yeah, VVCC.
Yep.
there you go. And how many years you been doing this?
This will be our second year.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
And you do one event a year?
Yeah.
It's in Virginia.
Yep, in Pamplin, Virginia.
Right on.
Oh,
cool.
You
just get that word out for you, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Just trying to bring awareness, to veterans and let them know, give them somewhere to showcase their grows. Because we have it's kind of like a cannabis cup for veterans.
Yeah.
But
and
it's
how many entries did you have last year?
14, I believe.
All flower?
Yes.
Yeah. Indoor or out or both?
Both.
All right.
Photos, autos?
Yes.
I assume
anything
you want, huh? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, because we didn't want to narrow it down the first couple of years. We didn't know what to expect turnout wise.
Sure.
You don't want, 2 people to enter, one category. So we just done photo, auto, indoor, outdoor, all goes into one category.
Nice.
Right on. Were you a judge?
Huh?
Were you a judge?
No, us 3, the founders, we stayed out of it.
All right. That's a good call.
We didn't want anybody,
Yeah.
We didn't want any biases.
Yeah.
And what so you have one coming up this year?
Yes, November 1st.
November 1st?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Noted.
How far are you from Virginia Beach again?
It's roughly 3 hours east.
Oh, okay.
For west.
East.
3 hours west.
It couldn't be east to be in the water.
Yeah.
So you do it on a ship?
Ocean grown, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Salt water does something.
Yeah.
And and doing that event, and we also, we have our own Facebook group, the VVCC group, for the event. If any veterans need seeds or stuff like that, we help them out with getting seeds awesome. And stuff. Yeah.
The VVCC.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. So other than that, you're no longer working nuclear. You're 100% disabled by the VA. What do you do with your time besides that? What's going on with your life? What are you doing today?
I just grow and stay home with my dogs.
Oh, so you have more dogs?
Oh, yeah, I got 4 of them.
When you lost your pup, when you lost your tight one, did you already have other dogs then, or did you get more dogs after?
I got more dogs after.
Yeah, right
he was
on.
the only one.
Yeah, right. Kick ass.
I'm about to be going through that process, I assume. It's been several years since I lost my pups, which it hurt me. And that's why I don't have a dog right now. I'm afraid of that loss again. But I need to kind of open back up because I need that shit. I need my animals. They're different. They do different things than just having a good friend or a battle buddy. You know what I mean? It's something else.
Yeah, for sure.
The unconditional loyalty that my shepherd has.
Incredibly. It's a good feeling for sure.
If he's not upstairs sleeping with mama, he's right here next to me, staring at my every move. And wherever I go, he has to be right there with me. Sometimes it's like a little 2-year-old kid, like, I already done all that shit. I'm done with that,
Yeah.
But at times when I trip over him and stuff, it gets a little frustrating. But the unconditional love from the puppy is incredible.
Agreed.
So Aaron, here you are, brother. You're growing. You're surviving. You're living a much better life, wouldn't you say? Mentally.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And so if you had in a few sentences, a paragraph, what have you, what's the most important thing you'd want to get out there to your fellow veterans? What do they need to know? What do they need to hear from you, brother? What do you want to tell them?
It's okay to ask for help.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
Swallow your pride. Ask for help if you have to. And, you know, if you need help, ask for it. Man, that's basically it.
Yeah.
That's what it all boils down to. We're all hard-headed and stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't want to admit that we need help because it's going to make us look weak. But,
Yeah.
You know, and I'd like to caveat to that just a touch, man. You know, us being proud folks, you know, military, usually veterans are really proud for the most part that I know of. Well, we've been so good at accepting what was given to us by the military, doing what we're told to the T because we're good soldiers. Well, I'm here to tell you, and I'm sure you guys can back me up on this. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. You don't have to be that proud and just take what the fuck you're given. You know, you can polish that turd a little bit. All right. If it's that bad, you can polish that turd. And so don't be afraid to ask for help, just like what you're saying, Aaron. And I appreciate that message, man, 100%, because I had to ask and it hurt me, but it helped me 100%. Drop my pride a little bit, man, and get back to just being a normal human being and understanding that we are all human and that we're not alone. Man, I really appreciate that message, brother.
Yeah, it's not just about swallowing pride. It really isn't that.
No.
It's going back to the courage that you had to join, the courage you showed while you were in, and have the courage to ask for help.
Yeah.
Whenever you display courage, usually good things happen.
Yeah.
And that usually comes from the honesty. You got to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're okay. If you believe it, cool. If you don't, you have some work to do.
Yeah, only you know, right?
Only you. You can't lie to yourself. You know better.
Yeah.
And so look yourself in the mirror and ask if you're okay.
Right on. Well, so then before we depart, guys, again, I want to go back to our listeners and thank you all so much for 2 full seasons.
Yeah.
And all the love you all show for all of us. Thank you for that. Please share, follow, click all those buttons, like in Spotify and Apple Podcast and Roku, Citizen Green TV. We're on there. Heck, we're next to Montel Williams. You see that, Joe? Yeah, like Montel Williams, Sicko and Doc in a line, like right there.
Hell yeah.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
So the Spotify thing is cool, is that you can go and listen to it while you're doing your day. You know, if you're doing housework or working out in the garage or whatever you're doing, you can just listen to one of our shows on your headphones or whatever while you're doing your day. So again, please, the only way that we can reach veterans is to reach veterans. And we need help with that. And so whatever our listeners could do to help move us forward, it's greatly appreciated by us, especially. And Aaron, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your service, brother.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
both.
you for having that courage, man.
Hell yeah, bro.
I hope coming on, if it helps you inside a little bit, brother, good for you. And thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on today. Me. Anything else, gentlemen?
That's it.
All right.
Appreciate you sharing your story, Aaron.
Yeah, thank
love
you.
you all. Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.